M4CGManySqPart3 project part 3, project development process number 4. Oh, 4. Okay, make sure your new constructor works. Modify checkerboard.java to pass the values 8, 10, and 0.2 float to CV checkerboard. The second two parameters won't affect anything at this point because we're just using n right now to make an n by n checkerboard. But you can try to change the value of the first input to see what happens to the checkerboard. And then make sure your program works as expected for invalid inputs for N, K, and Q. And actually, let's do something about this last bit first. We'll have to test it, but we need to make sure that we have our checks in place here. Remember, at this point we're just testing the value of N. But if we go back to CV square spiral, we also had some tests for K and Q to make sure those were legal values. So let's copy those. Edit, copy, right here after N. Oh, and we forgot something important last time, which was, so we also set the initial value of P here. So let's edit, copy, paste that in. So now we have our tests for valid values, and we have P in there. Let's see if that'll compile. I think it compiles automatically, and that means if there's some compilation problem, it'll let you know. So let's see. So that looks. We don't have any red marks so far. So let's see. Oh, so now we want to modify checkerboard.java to pass the values 8, 10, and 0.2 float to CV checkerboard. So now we have this constructor that can take these three values, and we can go to our main program here, checkerboard, and we're going to eventually receive arguments through the main method in args. But for now, we're going to just plug in 8, 10, and 0.2f. Should work. What happened here? Constructor cannot be applied to the given types. Found int. Oh wait, because I put it in the wrong place, didn't I? So let me cut that. I wanted that. So checkerboard is the frame, right? That's this guy. So what we want is to paste it in here. All right, there. So we might at some point need to actually stick it in this constructor so we can pass it from main to here. But for now, I think this is what we're working for now. So so that passes it. Let's make sure that, let's see what we have in here. So the second two parameters won't affect anything at this point, but you can try changing the first one. Okay, so let's just see how it runs without changing that first parameter. Run file. Okay, we got our regular 8x8. So now if we put in 3, oops, let's put in 3 here. See if we can get a 3x3 if we did it right. There we go. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sweet. Okay, so this is determining our, oops, our n value. These other guys aren't going to make any difference because this is our K and this is our P for those spirals, right? So we could make this whatever we wanted, and it's not going to, and this too. It's not going to make any difference. Let's just run it. Oops, maybe one file, and it's still, everything's the way it was. But so let's just put this back to 10 and 0.02. Oh shucks, was it 0.02 or 0.2? 0.2. All right. And then the only thing then we need to check is if we put in invalid values, right? So let's try sticking a -8 in here and see what it says about that. Yoink! We got an exception. Illegal number of squares on a side -8. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so it threw that one back at us, and that was done right here. And unless it equal to 0, throw new illegal argument exception. So that's what it looks like when it throws an exception. And we can test out these other guys the same way. Oh, and did we have? Oh, I think for Q we had a max value. Right. So we should get the same thing if we try a negative value for K. Run. Yep. It says illegal number of squares in the spiral, -10. Okay, so that was no good. And then if we make this 10.2, that should we should have a problem with that for Q because Q needs to be less than 1. So let's try that. One file. Yep, doesn't like that. Illegal fraction of side length. And if we make it negative, that's illegal fraction of side length, right? And it should be the same for 0 and 1. Let's just complete that. Doesn't like 0, and doesn't like 1. Okay, so you want to thoroughly test these guys and make sure you're looking at all the border conditions. But anyway, and then that one works. All right, so that is okay. That's step 4.